after which point I should issue a strong language alert. So, welcome to the stage, the ever-stylish Graeme.
Hello everyone. Are we well?
Yeah.
I'm Graeme Gibbon-Brooks. I can tell what you're thinking. My clothing would suggest that I was thrown out of school for throwing chairs at the teacher. My accent would suggest something different, but don't worry, I'll make that clear fairly shortly. The other thing is I used some notes, and that's because I've got PTSD, and that has ruined my internal memory. If that detracts from my set, you might want to ask yourself why you hate disabled veterans so much. So, I used to work in an office. A phase of my life I still see in my nightmares. A phase of my life that I like to describe as a death of 1,000 cunts.
Oh my God.
However, that is over, it's far behind me now, and I work in a relatively twat-free environment, and I'm very happy with my choice. Now, I will say, one of the things that you might have thought about me originally might be true. I didn't do terribly well at school, and the reason is that I've got ADHD, and ADHD is a neurodevelopmental disorder where the part of your brain that deals with executive function doesn't develop properly, and that is treated with drugs and techniques, and you really rely on the love and scaffolding of people around you. The problem is that you can think of ADHD as the disability being really fucking annoying to people who, to 90% of people who work in office and really like routine. They like predictability, and the thing that I found that needled them the most was that I was the boss. So I now, so when I was growing up with ADHD, ADHD was treated, was diagnosed as being a naughty little bastard, and was treated with routine violence and relentless bollocking. But now, happily, the world has moved on, and you've got to find the right environment for you. And I've discovered that I like to work outside. One thing I have noticed, though, is that when you turn up wearing bright orange, people judge you. They judge you. They think you must be a chimp. To which I reply, no, madam, you're thinking of scaffolders. I'm not down on scaffolders, by the way. They are my favourite naughty boys. But a bit like chimpanzees, you would not be in the least bit surprised to find one of them flinging their own poo.
Oh my God.
The other thing that I hadn't expected, but I do enjoy, is that other nice middle-class men are terrified of other men dressed in bright orange. I can be in a lift, absolutely dead silent, and soft-handed Gideon will be standing in the lift, having flashbacks to getting a wedgie and preparing mentally to hand over his dinner money. I can't say I don't enjoy the smell of fear. It does have flip sides. It does have flip sides, though. When you turn up on a building site, particularly in an area where they hate the English, so Glasgow or Swansea, you go, hello, Graeme Gibbon-Brooks. You have got a very fucking short time to get round the site and reassure people that you are not, in fact, a weapons-grade bellend. Because if you're not quick enough, everyone wants to meet the top-of-the-range wanker that's just arrived. Now, I remember when I first turned up on site, a little bit naive, I think, the senior scaffolder met me and showed me round. And I should have known, because he was a little bit too friendly. He was like, all right, mate. And so he handed me my joining pack. The joining pack was a next of kin card, a frankly intrusive sexual preference questionnaire, and a plastic box. The plastic box had a label on the front where I could write my name and trade, and inside were NHS instructions for taking a stool sample. And Jake said to me, when you fill all three of those, Leave those on the foreman's desk. What I now know is that that's the scaffolder's favourite joke.
Oh my God.
The foreman is less keen. So when you do fit into the site, it's a really, really fun place to be, and you all get on. And that is different from getting on in an office where, you know, pizza parties and squash ladders. As far as scaffolders are concerned, getting on looks a bit like this. They get you in the rest area and the biggest audience that they can find before saying, "How big's your cock, Skip?" just to see what you'll do. Happily, 16 years in the Royal Navy has prepared me perfectly for this moment, and I reply, "It's tiny and smells of prawns."
Oh my God.
So, I will say, I ought to explain that what my profession is. My profession is that I am a principal military consultant, and I write intelligence about piracy and counter-terrorism. And that's really, really important, really required, and it's in strong demand. But in order to do that, I have to stay current in two of my trades. And my trades are being a small ship captain and being a bomb disposal officer. And happily, everywhere you dig a hole in the UK, you need a bomb disposal officer, because 10% of the bombs don't go off. Quick shout out to the Luftwaffe, thanks for the gig, lads. I've got a job for life. What I will say is that it's really nice to be needed, and these guys really need captains, they really need bomb disposal officers, and they need to keep you on side, they need to keep you sweet, because no one likes being left on the scaffolding for 4 hours over the top of a cold river underneath a railway bridge because they've tricked the captain into shitting in their foreman's favourite lunchbox. I've been Graeme, thanks very much. And now, in a complete change of tone, happily going up the way, I'd like to introduce the amazing Emma.
This is a real change in tone, so just be forewarned. So I'm also spoken word, as you've probably gathered, but I'm a poet and not a comedian, so there won't be much laughs here, so be warned. This piece is called A Letter to the One I Said I Do To, from the girl with no voice. You were my protector and saviour. You were strong, and you told me you were the one. I was broken and scared and not ready. But you made a promise, and I to you, we said, I do. I thought that would keep me safe, loved and happy. But how quickly I knew it would not. You told me you would sing me a love song, but this is not a love song. Our happiness, our life, rested daily on the eggshells of your wants, needs and demands, not our life. The girl that had shone and loved and trusted and believed and opened her life to you, slowly retreated into the prison you created. There was no song there. You made me a promise, you said, I do. But you shattered that with your words, with your fists, with your kicks, with your hands around my throat, stealing my voice, stealing my song. You made me a promise, you said, I do. But you belittled me and you controlled me. I was lost in your world of broken promises. The threat was always there, close, heavy in the air, like your breath on my neck, like your pressure on my skin, like the words, stinging, singing, another horror, another promise broken, and still no love song. So it's time now for me to break my promise. I no longer say I do, as I'm not the girl with no voice. As I look at my reflection, a new girl stares back at me, a girl who is thankful. Through you, I know what love is, because you showed me what it was not. I can find my own love song. I have stood in despair, I have wept, and I have faced the end. I know what it's like to feel deep emotions, because even when I have nothing left inside, I feel it with my whole heart. I'm making a new promise to myself, to keep saying, I do. I do believe in love songs. I do know the end, but I know how to live. I do know pain, but I know how to be gentle with myself. You may not know what it took to survive, but I do believe in love songs. It's okay to be happy. I'm giving myself permission to love again. So this may not be a love song, but I am the girl who believes in love. I come from the world of broken promises, where your threat may still linger, close, but not as close, losing their power now, loosening their grip now. Your words still echo, stinging, singing, another horror, another promise broken, but there are love songs out there. My happiness is now with another. I am the girl with a voice, the girl with a song, and the girl who believes in love songs, and the girl who says, I do. Because I stood in despair, and I wept, and I faced the end, and as I stood there at the brink with nothing else left, I felt it all, those deep, deep emotions, because even then, when I was broken inside and out, and there was nothing else left, I felt it with my whole heart, and I knew there was a love song out there for me. So you took my voice, my love, my promise, and my trust, but I get it all, because I have my love song. From the one who was more than enough, I am the girl in control. Thank you. And I welcome up the uber talented Tip, please.
It's me again, isn't it? Sorry about that. Shit happens to me. Right, what I sort of won the award last year with was with a little bit of help from a bloke called Shakespeare. And the thing is, when I started actor training, I sort of fell back in love with Shakespeare. My missus still thinks he's dog shit and she'll never get it, you know what I mean? But hey ho, each to their own. But what I specifically like about Shakespeare is his sonnets. If you do take the time, or grab his sonnets, any one of them, just let the fall open, any of the sonnets, look at it, read it, and its prevalence today will just bite on you straight away. If you read those and look at those words, that's it. So when it came to it, and I got, obviously the fast one, right, yeah, I said, right, yeah, well, I've done this bit, is this all right, you know, for the Starts Award? They're going, no, you need to write new piece. And I was like, Jesus. So I sort of done that, and I picked on Sonnet 29, and this is sort of like Tip's version of Sonnet 29, and what it jumped out and gave me throughout it, yeah, so let's see how it goes, yeah? When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate. The embuggerings factor of life. Have I always been a letdown? To myself, to my friends, comrades, my clan, my society? Who says I'm a disgrace? This, well, it doesn't say I'm a disgrace, but because of this, I'm caught in a world of judgment, self-judgment, disinformation, conspiracy. Or have my actions in war created the guilt I now feel? Have I not played the game? Done as I was asked? Why am I not popular? What do I need to make it whole? Who do I call upon? There's no fucking Ghostbusters for me. Divine intervention? I suppose it has happened. I'm still alive, aren't I? Or am I? Was that God listening to me? Well, you can never tell, can you? Show me a sign. Give me the hope I require. Or do you just sit back and laugh at me? Maybe I'm just a pawn in Big Brother's game of chess. A consumable piece of life. Like us all, we're all on that slippery slope heading downwards. Our headspace stuck in our mobile phones. Facebook, Insta, Threads, Twitter, fucking X. Flash cars, flash clothes, happy, smiling fucking families. Maybe this is the new religion. A break from nature and faith. Human ownership of evolution. Wishing me like to a more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy, contented least. Why do I do that? Always wishing, jealousy of other people's lives, FOMO, fear of missing out, that's what they say on the ground. Why am I letting the new religion of social media make me aspire to be someone else rather than me? In the old days, I used to look up to people because that I wanted to be as good as, because I knew them. I seen them work, play, lead, mentor, but now the power comes from the box. My sense of purpose generated by an algorithm. Yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising. I'll never be one of them. They have everything. Why am I always the one seen off? The one picked last? The one who never wins? Why am I letting the box tell me how to be? How to live? How to think? How to love? Who to love? What to love? And what to hate? But I have you. And I have this. Happily, I think on thee, and then my state. Like to the lark, a brigadier rising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love desire such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. A creative path that will drag me out of the mire of shite that is social media and the toxic algorithmic influence of global corporations and shitsville governments hiding behind the veil of your mobile phone. I will be free, creative, and kind in my own way, guided by the beauty of nature and the love of my friends. My mobile phone and the digital media, it's still with me, but on my terms and to my benefit. And now, in fact, some severe comedy, we have our Jill!
Thanks for putting me on last, Sue, after all that. Bloody hell. Hello everyone, I'm Jill. I've seen a few of you looking at me today like I've accidentally snuck in, but I am meant to be here. I'm a poster outside, I promise you. So, I was one of the spoken word winners of the Starts Awards last year. Start Awards, sorry Sue, I keep getting it wrong. And so yeah, I've come up here to tell you a little bit about my year last year and what an exceptional year it was for me. So usually I like to start at the beginning, but I'll start with the starts this time around. Winning the Starts Awards was an amazing opportunity for me to be really creative and meet a like-minded group of veterans. Now then, what we were given as a task as winners of the Starts Awards was to write a new 5-minute piece based on the theme New Start. And it was perfect timing for me because at the time, two really big things had just happened in my life. The first one was, and I'm not copying off Graeme here, but the first one was that I was diagnosed with ADHD. So it turned out that I was not a gobby little shit. I actually have a registered disability, which was really shocked my dad. And the second thing that was probably even bigger was just before I performed at the Starts Awards, finally, after years and years of worrying about it, and after years and years of worrying what everyone would think when I finally went through and did it, I finally came out. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I don't know what I was worried about. It's been a really, really liberating experience coming out. I've been able to be my true self after years and years of conforming and trying to fit in a box. I was finally able to be who I was always meant to be. If nothing else, it gave me an excuse to buy these jumpsuits and more Doc Martens without me complaining about it all the time, which was really good. Yeah. And my husband's been great as well. He came out himself a few years ago as well, but it wasn't for him really. It didn't last long. He went back in again. He did. I don't know what you're laughing at. Some people do it, you know. They come out and then they go back in. So yeah, my husband, he's been really supportive. And obviously it's a time of big adjustment. You know, I'm a woman of a certain age, there were new things that I had to learn, but I found that there was another great community out there of other women who have all also come out in the 40s, and they were more than willing to give me their advice and show me the ropes. Because I know it's, you know, men come out, women come out, but it's slightly nuanced for us females, so there's different ways of doing things. And I did have lots and lots of good advice. A big shout out to all the sisters out there that looked in. Yeah. What are you laughing at? I haven't even done the comedy bit yet. So I was on the tube on the way here today, and I started wondering what it was that I was so worried about when I first came out of the army last year, and why I was worried about being a veteran. And I think it's because for years and years, I was in the army for 24 years, and when I look back, I think I was really, really conditioned to be terrified of leaving. You know, all those years, I was exposed to all this strange language. Now, many of you in this room, in fact, I suggest all of you are from the military community, so you probably know some of the things that I'm going to tell you. But in the military community, we have different language. You might not know it, actually. You're a bit of a lovey, aren't you? But we have different language that we use, like any other organisation. So one thing is, for example, all the people in here that are not ex-military veterans, are not serving in the military, you're all known as civvies, which is short for civilians. And do you know this? One of the terms that we use in the army for people that, for anything outside of the army, we call it civistry. It's very highbrow, it's a very highbrow term. I don't know who thought about it. It's probably some corporal who was bored on his lunch break one week, you know, sat there had nothing better to do than polish his helmet and, his boots, polish his boots, and came up with this term. But we refer to it as civistry. And anything outside of the army in this civistry is this mystical place. And when you join the army, you are conditioned to stay in. So you hear things all the time like, oh, you don't want to leave, you know, it's really hard out there on Civvy Street. It's really tough out there on Civvy Street. Now then, as a young, impressionable soldier, conditioned to believe everything that my senior officers told me, I had no idea what this Civvy Street was, but it was pretty terrifying. I mean, if it was anything like the council estate that I grew up on, which just so happened to feature in a lovely 2013 Panorama documentary called Trouble on the Estate, about the worst place to grow up in Britain, I certainly did not want to end up on this Civvy Street. But once you've been in for a while, that language starts to change because they're going to get rid of you, aren't they, at some point? So people start talking about Civvy Street in this positive way. And they start using other terminology, which I've since found out is different out in Civvy Street. Like, they say you're going to be coming out, which means something else, apparently. They also use terms like, if you don't know again, when you leave, if you complete a full career in the British Army, you leave and you get instant access to your pension. So they say to you, you're going to be a pensioner. And you're going to retire. Also confusing words with double meanings. They also told me that I was going to be transitioning. Now then. I ticked a box on an application form. I'm sure I only got phone call for interview for D&I purposes, I'll be honest with you, because I didn't get the job when I turned up. So eventually they kicked me out. I mean, they gave me a medical discharge for PTSD. But yeah, eventually I left. And I did laugh as well. Eventually I left. And I was confused. I knew that I was retiring, I knew I was going to be a pensioner. I wasted 6 months growing my grey hair out. Before somebody told me, no, this transitioning process, it's a time when you need to work out what job you're going to do next. Well, bloody hell, I have no idea. I've been in the army for 24 years. So I did what any modern woman would do. I looked at the universe for guidance. Previously, I would have looked to God because I was raised a Catholic. Now, a Northern Catholic. I only went to church twice a year because I gave out 3 selection boxes down at St Albans Church, and for schooling reasons my mum had me baptised. But I've had to come away from all that now since I went to the Vatican with my friend Foxy Roxy a few years ago. Now I won't go into it all, but if any of you in here don't know what the Vatican is, it is one of the holiest places on earth. It is the home of the Roman Catholics, and the British Catholics, I suppose. It's where the Pope hangs out. And whilst me and my mate Foxy Roxy were in there, we visited the Vatican and we went into the Sistine Chapel. Now the Sistine Chapel is one of the holiest places on earth. I can't even prove it to you afterwards because I'm not even allowed to take a selfie in there. But we're in the Vatican and my friend Foxy Roxy adjusted a bag on her shoulder and her right tit popped out. Now then, I don't know if God saw it, but I'm pretty sure he did, because he was up there looking down on me from this amazing painting done by one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I don't know if St. Peter subscribes to the theory of guilt by association, but I do not want to turn up at the pearly gates and risk getting sent to burn in the fires of eternal hell. Or worse still, purgatory. I'd have joined the RAF if I wanted to do that. So I've had to come away from all that now. So I looked at the universe, and boy, did the universe deliver. I went to, it was mentioned earlier, I went to the Battleback Centre. Thanks for the shout out for the Battleback Centre, all of it there. I went to the Battleback Centre on a recovery course as part of my medical discharge. And whilst I was there, I saw a sign on the wall advertising a stand-up comedy course. And right there and then, I knew that this was a sign from the universe. And I went on the stand-up comedy course, a bit different from the one they did, and I just stole my thunder earlier. I went on this stand-up comedy course, and on the first night that I walked out on stage, I realised that my little ADHD brain was in heaven, and this is where I was always meant to be. I just wasted 24 years getting there. And when I look back, I realised the universe, or God, depending what period of my life it was giving me those signs all along. Like when I competed in the Invictus Games a few years ago and was absolutely shit at the sport. But I was hand-selected to do a BBC interview alongside Prince Harry. Or when I went snowboarding in Colorado with another charity last year and again was absolutely shit at the sport. But broke my arm and so was invited to do some commentary for the ski racing. So now I fully believe that the universe gives you what you want in life, and I've started manifesting. I accidentally manifested Labour getting into power recently by turning up at Downing Street in a red dress last December and having my picture taken on the doorstep. So if there's any Tories in here, I'm sorry about that. If there's any reform, don't speak to me later. But what I did, I thought to myself, well, I've got a chance here. The universe is definitely listening to me. So I've manifested something big. And I thought that I would end up there until I turned up here today. I manifested that my career would take me to the West End, and that someday I might end up on Broadway. As I got off the train today to find the University of West London and looked up and saw the sign for Ealing Broadway, I knew that this is it. I've hit my ceiling. Thank you very much, everybody. And it is my job, as the last person here, to invite my fellow performers back up to take a little bow. But first of all, I just want to say thank you to the Stars Awards, to Sue, to Lydia, and for all the support that they've given us and that they give to the rest of the military community, the armed forces community. Thank you so much. So, in no particular order, Graeme, Emma, turns out there is a particular order, and the wonderful Tip.
So get it.
Yeah.
Football mama.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.